I'm Helen He, Chairman of Xinjiang Kunshan Industry Collective. In 2022, the ongoing caused energy and food crisis around the world and stunted the growth of almost all economies worldwide. As for the pesticide industry, which straddles the two major industries of agriculture and the chemical industry, what is the situation in 2022 and the past 3 years? Today, I am very glad to have the opportunity to analyze the development situation of the pesticide industry in 2022 for you. I hope that today's analysis can be helpful to all practitioners in the pesticide industry. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected the supply chain for 3 consecutive years, but China's pesticide industry kept developing rapidly, giving its products competitiveness in the international market. In 2022, some pesticide varieties were in short supply due to tight energy supplies in the EU, and China's pesticide exports filled the gap in the international market. At the same time, the Chinese Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Affairs adopted corresponding policy measures to support pesticide exports, such as the implementation and further strengthening of policies related to EX pesticide registration, enabling pesticide manufacturers to export more types and formulations of pesticides to serve local agriculture. Despite the issues seen in the first half of the year, China's pesticide exports in 2022 increased in both volume and value overall. According to China economy data, China exported in total 1.5961 million tons of pesticides in 2022, year-on-year increase of 4.51%, with the export value 151.587 billion RMB, equals to around 22.07 billion US dollar, year-on-year increase of 37.45%. The total pesticide export volume accounted for 85.81% of the total Chinese pesticide production output, which is a record high. In terms of specific commodities, the export volume of herbicides was 1.338 million tons, up 14.86% year-on-year, and an export value of 6.94 billion US dollar, up 88.48% year-on-year. The main export markets for herbicides were Brazil, Australia, the United States, Nigeria, and Thailand. Ukraine, as a grain producer, was once one of the major pesticide export markets for China. Affected by the war between China's exports of herbicides to Ukraine decreased by 46.52% from January to October 2022. The export volume of insecticides was 323,000 tons, up 2.19% year-on-year, and the export value was 1.67 billion US dollar, up 19.44% year-on-year. The main export markets were Brazil, Thailand, Bangladesh, Vietnam, and Indonesia. Despite the fact that insecticide exports to a number of markets declined, exports to Brazil increased significantly by 96.4%, and prices were basically flat year-on-year. The export volume of fungicides was 108,000 tons, down 2.58% year-on-year, and the export value was 740 million US dollar, up 14.11% year-on-year. The main export markets were Indonesia, Australia, Vietnam, Brazil, and Bangladesh. China gradually liberated itself from the most severe COVID-19 pandemic lockdowns and welcomed the opening of its whole society at the end of the year. Although the economy also declined due to locking down of cities and ports, as well as stoppages or suspensions of work and production, China's agricultural market generally remained stable due to the consistent demand for food. The pesticide industry continued to maintain its momentum of steady growth, with a slight reduction in production but rising economic scale and efficiency of companies. Pesticide exports also regained their normal level in the second half of the year. In 2022, the biggest fluctuation in the pesticide market was the sharp decline in pesticide price, with more than 50% of pesticide varieties experiencing price drops year-on-year, which not only brought them back to the regional range, but also partly showed the effect of their gradual restoration of market production capacity.